In this video, I'm going to discuss why we should have a healthy fear of AI, the benefits and the drawbacks of it. Now, I think we should mainly focus on having a fear of AI, not so much because of AI itself, but because of what humans can do with it. Mostly very powerful humans that are already in very high positions, but also humans that may not be in a super high position. Of course, AI has been around for quite some time, but with the rise of ChatGPT and similar programs, as well as AI animations like AI SpongeBob, it's really having, I guess you could say, a moment right now. Now, of course, one of the biggest fears when it comes to AI is that it's going to replace art, making true artistry much more rare, which, being an artist myself, is something I am somewhat afraid of, though I do somewhat use artificial intelligence in my own work. Like when I create a digital painting, once I feel like I have a good base, I do like to add 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 different filters which are artificial intelligence, and which I think add a lot to my work and just makes it very pretty. Though I guess sometimes it does make it look a bit cheesy. I might post some of my artwork soon, but I also might not, because I might post it somewhere else or on a different account. I'm not sure yet. But back on topic, what we're seeing with the writer's strike right now, I think is very much entrenched in this sphere. Well, not only writers being treated terribly and unequally, which I was going to talk about in this video, and I just started out as, but now that I'm thinking about it, I think it's probably better just to do a video on AI first, and then move on talking about writer's strike, and just the entire writing, music, animation, movie industry in general, and how terribly workers are treated in that industry long before now, and unfortunately probably in the future. But I don't think it's very arguable that we shouldn't have a fear of AI taking over art, because if you go to sites like DeviantArt, as notorious as they are for having terrible art and Sonic OCs, it's becoming more and more and more difficult to tell what is AI and what isn't. Now, I don't necessarily think this means AI art shouldn't be allowed, or that artists shouldn't be used to utilize AI in their own artworks. As I've said, it's something that I've done a lot, and something I'm quite into recently in my digital artwork. Of course, when I'm not doing digital artwork, it's kind of a lot more difficult to use AI. But, and yeah, while there's a lot of people that say, no, AI will never truly take over art, I would argue it's kind of already happening, but just because it's so hard to tell what is and isn't AI. But the biggest issue with AI in general is it taking over jobs. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of people that have say a job taking out trash or making food that don't think their jobs will ever be taken over by AI. However, there's already been robots that have been designed and created for the purpose of being able to work these jobs. And it's not going to be, I don't think it's going to be paradise once the majority of jobs are taken over by AI or robots or, whatever. Because then we'll be totally useless in society. And if we know exactly who the people on top are, what their beliefs are, and what their beliefs are based in, you know that us so-called goyim are going to have to be exterminated. I'm not saying this should happen or that I support it, and I think in the perfect realm that we could create from this realm, work would be completely minimized for all people, and we could live peacefully. But of course, there has to be a wrench thrown into that, which I'm going to admit makes me upset. And of course, the extermination was most likely going to happen slowly. You could argue we've already seen this with COVID, but of course we'll see it in other things going forward. And that's very scary to think about. And that's truly the way AI will take over. But of course, it won't be AI. It'll be the intelligences behind AI. And you got people like perpetual pleasurists, which sound very elitist when talking about AI, because it's so much better than our monkey brains, right? Well, I mean, pretty sure it's our monkey brains that designed it and maintain it. But go off, sis. Keep talking about how most of humanity is just monkey brained, which to a certain extent I guess is somewhat true, but only because we're designed that way, and we all have animalistic instincts deep down. Why don't you, perpetual PP boy, go out in nature for a while with very little tools or clothing, and tell me that you're not going to end up reverting to more animalistic instincts after a while? You think you're so much better than everyone else? Go and see. I mean, yeah, you do admit to your own evil, as if almost all you want to talk about. But I mean, come on, man. Why are you so obsessed with the fact that you're of your own evil? You have something to confess? We know you like to go on and on and on about your preferences. So, yeah, why don't you use AI to generate that? And stop talking down about everyone else. And even your followers. And people that criticize you. And why don't you go ahead and tell us the future again? Because obviously you think you can tell the future, and you think you can set things up like you're playing 4D chess. Yeah, a bit of a tangent there. And I don't even really think there's a reason to watch this channel anymore, considering it's kind of just become everything mainstream media or semi-mainstream media talks about. I mean, it used to be different. There used to be some purpose to watching his channel, and it used to be pretty good. But over this past while, I think something's happened. I think he might be possessed by something, to be honest. Cause it's even just the way he talks, it's just not the same anymore. It's very creepy. He's got the black eyes, and yeah, it's just very creepy. So yeah, AI is obviously a broad topic. I might talk about it again in the future. But yeah, this is why we should have a healthy fear of AI. And of course, there is benefits to it. I think it can be used to help old people. It can be used to enhance art. It can be used to in like programs like Excel to ensure that the math is all accurate. But is it really going to be used for benefit, or is it going to be used to exterminate the goyim? That's what you need to think about. Not the possibilities, but what is most plausible, the plausibilities. And talked for about 10 minutes now, so think that's good enough. Soon I'll be making a video on a writer's strike, and probably another video on perpetual PP. Because that's what I have in mind. That could change. But for now, I want to thank you for watching to me ramble for a bit. I'm also thinking about putting up more structured kind of presentation-like videos in the future. Maybe using a slideshow. Because I'm going to be talking about topics that I think need to be done a lot more informationally. But yeah, thank you, and I'm going to try to end this on a nice number.